back. Here we go. Come on, Remi. So what I'm going to do is just going to be a voiceover because generally when I do these videos and I have the water running, you can barely hear me over the sound of water. But I've cleaned out the sink, the basin, and I am putting warm water with lots of Dawn soap in there. I'm going to take the baby and I'm going to put her in there and I'm going to wash her with a clean white towel. I looked at it and I wanted to make sure I didn't see anything hanging on my towel that could transfer to my baby. So just pulled off a couple of little ragged strings and things. And then I'll place the baby in the water and I'll wash her really well. Listen, the other thing that you have to know is the babies, the molds, when they come out, the silicone molds, when they come out, they have a chemical on them inside of the mold. Before you pour your silicone into it, you actually add this stuff called release. It is a spray and it's very oily. So you want to make sure your baby is nice and clean. I'm sure your sculptor and or someone has probably pre-cleaned the baby, especially after they have repaired the seams and such. But you just want to make sure your baby is extra clean. So some of the problems that you'll find if you don't do it, and I have found these problems, is that the paint will not stick, right? So you have to make sure the baby is absolutely clean. Now, because I've put so much soap on this baby and in this tub, I'm going to rinse her. I'm going to wash her really well, front and back and everything, all the limbs, etc. And then you're going to see that I'm going to actually, after washing her really well, place her back on her pad while I clean out my sink. And I'm going to make sure that there's no more Dawn soap anywhere. And then I'll add the baby back to some clean warm water and I will wash her and keep her clean and keep cleaning her until I can see that there's no bubbles, no nothing left on her. The last thing I want is to bring the baby out and she's have soap film on her that could also interfere with our painting. So that's one thing that I'm going to say I'm going to add, and I'm going to ask you guys to do anything and everything that we can do to prevent our baby from the paint not adhering to our baby's skin is what we want to do to prevent. I'm showing you guys, and I'm going to tell you, I don't know if I said but this baby is pretty flawless. There's really hardly anything wrong with this baby. When we get further down, you're going to see that there's a few little teeny tiny black things that you can't see with your naked eye, but if you look through your camera lens, you can see them. I'm going to remove those. That's something that you're going to always, it's like little pieces of particle that flies in the air, tiny particles. So we're going to remove those because we don't want to paint them into the baby skin. We really want this baby to be as smooth as possible. So I'm going to just let you watch. And then I'll come back after I get the baby rinsed off well and move to the painting station. Okay, here's some music. guys, so what you saw me do was I actually sprayed the first spray in, I think, the pink container. That was my alcohol. So once I put the baby on the table, she was still wet. I actually put the alcohol on her and I let her sit front and back. After she dried, because I let it just sit and soak all the way in, I wanted all that alcohol to evaporate off. I came back, and the second thing I did was I sprayed the Novak. The Novak is Novocs by Smooth On. That actually is a gloss solvent. The solvent you can use for thinning down your silicone paint. It helps it go on and leaves a nice smooth coat of paint. So you can put it on, apply it on the baby, or you can use it in your painting solution. The last thing I did was I put on the baby some Inhibit X. That's actually a product that will allow the silicone paint to adhere to the baby, to the silicone skin. So those are the things that I put on the baby. Alcohol. Sorry, that was in the blue container now that I'm looking at it. The pink had the Novak and the purple had the Inhibit X. I'm actually showing you my workstation, all my pre-made paints. There's some Inhibit X. That's my dispenser that I use for I just actually matted a doll, Precious, and she has gone to her new mommy. I use hand sanitizer before I touch my babies. So everything is there in place. You guys can take a look. Either way, I'll see you back when we get ready to coat the first base on the baby. That'll be next.